everyone, welcome to another wish list or whatever. This is my third one where I am talking about new releases or upcoming releases and what I will purchase and what I won't. So there's a lot of things that I want to talk about and things that I'm really excited to talk about. So let's just dive right in here. I have my phone in front of me and I am scrolling through Trendmood mostly. That's pretty much my main source of information for new releases. I do look at other places and I do some searching, but I find in general Trendmood is pretty cohesive when it comes to mainstream makeup releases and what's coming out soon. So the first thing I'm seeing as I'm scrolling through is a lot of pictures of an upcoming Kylie Cosmetics collection. So apparently Kylie is collaborating with one of her best friends, Jordan, and they have a whole thing coming out in a couple of weeks. This includes lipsticks and highlighters and eyeshadows. Honestly, I can see who this is marketed towards, and I know there's a lot of people who really love their friendship. I am not necessarily one of those people. I've talked about Kylie Cosmetics before, and like I've used a bunch of products. I've never purchased anything myself, but I have been given stuff, and by my sister. I should just clarify that. And I liked it fine, and it's stuff that I would potentially purchase if it was easier for me to get a hold of it, but not something that's high up on my list. And this palette, this eyeshadow palette in particular, it looks different than some of other things that I've seen, but it still doesn't look exciting enough to make me want to drop a lot of money on it. I like that there's a variety of shades in here. There's some cooler tones, there's some warm tones. I like this direction that a lot of palettes seem to be heading in. I know a lot of us are kind of done with the warm tones just in general. We want to see more cool tones, but I feel like it's going to be a very gradual process. We're seeing more split palettes. We're seeing a few cool tones thrown in with warm tones, which is kind of frustrating, but it seems to be sort of testing the waters and getting the general consumers interested more in cooler tones, so hopefully there will be more of a demand for it. It makes sense, so I like the direction that palettes like this are headed in. I just don't have any need for this particular palette, and I don't care enough about Kylie or Jordan to want to buy pieces from a collaboration together. But I get the idea behind it. It's just not something for me. There's a lot of like re-promotions I see coming up now, which makes sense. We're getting into the holiday season, and I know it's just really early into September, but this is what it's been like for the last couple of years. I remember 3-4 years ago buying the new holiday releases in September, ordering them really early. A particular memory that stands out for me is ordering the Kat Von D Mi Vida Loca Remix palette when I was still in the hospital after giving birth to my son. I remember ordering it on my phone with the Sephora app, and it's just one of those things that stands out to me as the new holiday releases are coming out so early. So there's just so much stuff coming out, and a lot of it is already out, and it's very overwhelming, at least to me. I feel like this is more than I've seen before. Maybe it's because I really am consciously looking at it now. I just don't remember there being this many new releases at one time. So a thing to remember with holiday collections too is a lot of them tend to be a lot worse quality than the normal products because they are just producing a really small quantity, and it's something that they're trying to push out quickly, and they're hoping to sell it fast for the holiday season. This is the same stuff that you will see discounted tremendously once the holiday season is over for what's left over. There's very few things that are specific holiday releases that are actually really good quality. I feel like it's a lot of the same stuff, just sort of recycled year after year in just slightly different packaging. There are some brands that are really bad for that, like Tarte and Too Faced. I see looks like a highlighter. This is from Marc Jacobs. So this is the Omega Glaze All Over Foil Luminizer. This is a beautiful color, and I just actually really like this shot in particular. This is something that I would totally post on my Tumblr. I just like the feeling of it. I like the close-upness of it, but it's not something that would ever work for me. A gold highlighter like this would just end up being a streak on my face. But the upcoming Marc Jacobs holiday collection does seem to have a few interesting things in it. There are these glitter eyeshadows in a pot There's 6 different shades. It says sequin finish eyeshadows, and I think they might be more of a cream based. They look really interesting, like they could perform like really beautiful one and done sort of shades. I have nothing against cream eyeshadows, I just don't tend to use them very often. I don't mind certain shades used as a base, and a gold I think would be really beautiful as I just like gold, but a gold would be really beautiful on the eye. So I kind of wish that luminizer shade was an eyeshadow shade. I hate using highlighters on my lid because they just aren't meant to be built up. They really are meant to be sheared out, and even something that wouldn't work on my face would be too sheer to work as an eyeshadow. So I just really like that particular gold color. And a lot of these things are going to be potential purchases and not definite purchases, because I really need to slow it down and just enjoy what I have for a little while. I'm kind of doing like an alternating no buy 1 month and then purchasing a couple of things and then doing a no buy. Certain categories I have a lot of that I just need to appreciate what I have, like eyeshadow. I'll touch on that in a minute because there's definitely something I want to talk about when it comes to eyeshadow. There is the new KKW Cherry Blossom collection, which looks very, very Kim Kardashian. I think Kim really knows her audience. I know she has help from Mario as well with her collection, and I feel like they definitely know who they're marketing towards. They know what her fan base likes in makeup, and Kim knows what she likes herself, so it makes a lot of sense. It's going to be a lot of neutrals, a lot of safe but very pretty colors. It's just not something for me. Like, I get the whole aesthetic. I can see the people who will wear this collection. I'm the very opposite of that, and there's nothing wrong with either. It's just not my personal aesthetic, so that's an easy pass for me, not even something I'm tempted by. Now, something that I am tempted by is the Too Faced Gingerbread Spice palette. I think this is a beautiful, beautiful color story. I love these warm, spicy tones. Do I need this palette? No. Do I want it? Yes. I also really love that the gingerbread man on the packaging really looks like Gingy from Shrek. Gingy from Shrek is one of my favorite animated characters of all time. I went to the Wax Museum, Madame Tussauds in London, and I shrieked. I shrieked when I saw the Shrek statue, because at Shrek's feet is a little Gingy, and I have a picture of myself just like pointing at it, and I'm just so excited by Gingy. And so that's also partially a reason why I want it, because I love Shrek. Shrek 2 is the best sequel of all time. I stand by that 100%. I need to go watch that again. It's so good. The Sephora Favorites collection. So this is a Lash Stash one. I did see the Give Me More lip as well. I always get the Give Me More lip, and to be honest, I haven't looked for it this year. It's been a tradition for me for years to get that and review it on my channel. I've been doing it for 4 years, 5 years. This would be like the 5th year I would have done it, I think. Holy crap. Pretty much since the beginning of my channel. I just love swatching everything. I love trying out the different lip products, so I will probably get that just because it's one of my holiday traditions. It's something that I'm just not ready to give up. It's a really good value if you don't have a lot of lip products, and that's what I really liked about it when I first started getting them, until I started getting a lot of lip products. And then you come across a lot of dupes, but it's good to try different formulas. There's a mix between full sizes and little minis, and I really, at this point, would prefer more minis than full sizes, because then I could try more things. The thing with the big sizes is if they don't really fit with something that you like or something that you would wear a lot, then they can just kind of be a waste. You're not going to use them. The Sephora collection sets in general tend to be a really good value, but you really have to look at whether or not you would use each individual product. It's hard to know ahead of time, but if you already see dupes in there for what you already have, if you already see repeat things from what you already have, it really makes it less valuable to you. So really just evaluate it that way if you're interested in any of them, because they have things from skincare to hair, they have perfume, there is mascara, and there is lipsticks, and sometimes they have more general things or themes, like it might be something bronzy, it might be something about highlighters. There's just general themes like that, and you really have to look at whether or not it's something that would be beneficial for you. I've bought a couple of like the overall ones where it's like the best of Sephora, and it would have things like a beauty blender in it and maybe a foundation sample and lip products and false lashes and eyeliners and just, you know, the variety of things. But if you break it down and see that there's so many things you already have or things that you definitely won't use, like for me with those overall favorite sets, if I see like red lipsticks in there, if I see foundation that's a medium shade, usually they go with a light or a medium shade in the foundation thing. They don't have it customizable, so that's another negative aspect of something like that. Anyway, I'm sure this is stuff that you probably already know, but just something to be aware of, that you don't need a ton of little samples unless it's something that's actually going to benefit you. The Viseart Grand Pro Volume 2 palette. Oh my god, is this thing expensive? This is $175 US. There is only 3,000 of them. They're limited edition, and they're basically kind of touted as a collector's item thing. And I think it looks beautiful. I definitely see how Viseart is such a commanding, powerful brand for makeup artists, working makeup artists, because there's such a variety of shades in there. The quality is outstanding. I only have one Viseart palette, the Editorial Brights palette, but I love it. And this is something that I will just look at and I will never purchase because I'm not a pro makeup artist. This would entirely be used on my face, so it's just a little too much, I think, for that kind of purpose. So sadly, I will be passing on that, but the price I think would have kept me away from that anyway. Even if it was a collection of shadows and things that I thought I would entirely use. I have so much stuff. Now, the Natasha Denona Safari palette, that's finally been revealed in full, and it is everything I wanted it to be and then some. I am absolutely in love with it, and I haven't bought it yet, and I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait on it, not because I don't want it. I definitely want it every day. I want this palette. I really love the Natasha Denona formula, especially this matte formula, because it's the same formula as the Tropic palette and it's beautiful. And I just wanted shades like this. I wanted browns and I wanted mustards and I wanted greens, and I know I'd be able to use this with so much of what I already have. But if I get it right now, I won't be able to really enjoy it that much because I have so many other things. I did just buy the Lila palette and I bought the Sunset palette. That Sunset palette's what I'm wearing today. I love them both. And so I was talking to my friend Emily about it, and she's like, buy it as your reward for finishing the Mario palette. So that's what I'm going to do. I feel like I'm probably going to finish that in about a month and a half. So that's coming soon, by the way. Pan that palette update next week. So I will wait until then, and then I will buy it because I just enjoy the formula so much, and I just know there's so much that I would be able to do with this. I'm not really looking at this as a palette that I will simply create matte looks from, but that I will use in conjunction with my other shadows. So I'm very, very excited to, at some point, get my hands on that. Now, I did mention Too Faced earlier. This whole under the Christmas tree thing looks cute, but also looks very similar to the Christmas collections they've had years past. That's an easy pass for me. I do like the look of this lipstick set though. They have a set of the melted mattes. There's 4 of them, and all 4 of these are shades that I would use. And I like that they all have different scents. So one smells like pumpkin pie, one smells like sugar cookies, one is, I can't read that, cinnamon something, and the other one is, I believe, some sort of butterscotch drink. It's hard to make it out exactly because they are being covered, like the packaging, but I would wear all those lipsticks because even the cinnamon shade, the red shade, looks to be more of a deeper red, not a bright red, and I actually really like deeper reds, especially for the fall time, and the other ones are lighter shades, which I would definitely wear. So that's something that's on my wish list. Maybe something I might ask for is like a stocking stuffer, or something that I'll buy with maybe a Sephora gift card. I try and ask for those every year and I almost never get them, but I know my brother always asks what he can get me for Christmas, and I usually ask for like an H&M gift card or a Sephora gift card or a little of both, because then I can I can enjoy it either way. There's some new MAC lipsticks that are supposed to be coming out in October that look really interesting to me. These are the Powder Kiss lipsticks. There are 16 shades. So apparently it's supposed to be a soft focused moisture matte weightless formula, comfy like lip balm with a silken feel. So these look really intriguing to me. I definitely like more of a soft, hazier lip. I haven't worn a dark lip in a long time. This is the first time I've worn it in a while, just because I've really been into the heavier eye and a very light lip, and I've been liking a hazier lip where I'll actually blend out my lip line a little bit with a brush, and I really like the look of these. It looks like a good variety of shades as well. There's looks like a couple of deeper shades, some reds, some pinks, some beiges, some browns. It looks very promising, so I might potentially get one of those. I don't know if they'll be included in Back to MAC, but that's also a possibility since it's a lipstick, so I'm gonna look into that. All right, so I'm just gonna leave this to a couple of more things because I could talk about makeup all night long. There's another Natasha Denona palette. This is the gold palette. This is shades of brown and gold and bronze and blue-green. As soon as I saw this, I was like, oh, Natasha Denona made a palette just for me. This is my palette. I can get rid of a lot of things and just have this one. I hate how much I love these eyeshadows. I really hate them because they're so expensive, but they're amazing. If I could replace all of the shadows I have in my collection with Natasha Denona in every color, I would be such a happy girl. I just love working with them so much. They just last. So this is not a Natasha Denona ad. It's stupid expensive, but I just really enjoy using them, and I really want that gold palette. I really do. This does say Sephora Holiday. I'm hoping it's not a Sephora exclusive because I really like the Beautylish payment thing, and then I might get the gold and the Safari at the same time once I save some freaking money because those things are not cheap. I also see the mini star palette, which looks really pretty, but not for me. The gold palette is definitely me, 100% me. They could call it the Elle palette and it would be 100% accurate. I know it's kind of boring for some people, but these are just the shades that I really love using. So I just had to rave about that for a second. There's a not a Natasha Denona. See? I have a problem. Colorpop has this really fun collection with this animal print. I'm not super big on animal print, but I get the whole wild theme. The eyeshadow palette looks really cool. It's making me want to place a Colorpop order, and I haven't placed one in a long time. This palette looks really interesting to me because there's such a unique assortment of shades. You have some purpley pinks in there, you have yellow greens, you have just greens, you have different formulas, you have mattes, and you have metallics, and it really inspires me because it's so different and it looks so playful. Oh, you could do some really creative and colorful looks and some really out-of-the-box things with this sort of assortment of shadows. And I don't have a lot of things that are like this. I've been really wanting some unique green and yellow sort of shimmery shades to pair with other things. So the Hourglass Ambient Light palette is an easy pass for me. The formula breaks me out, and it's horrible because it looks so beautiful on so many people, and I always hear people recommending the Hourglass Ambient Light and the blushes and the highlighters and the bronzers, and it breaks me out. Just breaks me out. So I just avoid it because there's no point in trying it anymore. I've tried it a few times and every single time it's made me break out. So, oh well. At least it's something I don't have to spend money on. The last thing I want to talk about is the Huda Beauty Precious Stones, these 5 palettes. As soon as I saw these, I was so excited. This is everything I've wanted. Little mini palettes of colorful, interesting color stories. Finally, this is exactly what I wanted. I can't believe I haven't heard more people talk about these yet. I know that they haven't been officially released. They're coming up very soon, but they just, this is it. This is what I wanted. So I really want the green and the blue, the sapphire and the emerald. In the emerald, there are some really interesting looking deep green shades. Some shades that lean a little bit more gray, things that lean a little bit more brown, but definitely seem to have that green tone in it. And then there's a couple of matte greens, which look really beautiful. I actually watched a couple of little mini tutorials on Instagram of people doing looks with these palettes, and I saw some people using the matte shades, and they look like they perform really well. I have one of the Little Obsessions palettes, and it's pretty good quality. It's not my absolute favorites, but I do really like the shimmery shades, and that's what I'm really missing from what I have. Like when I go to do an eye look, I'm like, I don't really have a lot of green shimmery shades. I don't have a lot of blue shimmery shades, just things that I want to use that are different. And so like the blue palette I was particularly excited about. I really like that yellow color in there. I love blue and yellow and green together, and I like that there's a silver shade in there. I also really like the topaz one, the orange one. I need to not buy that. I just need to not, because I have so many of those shades already, but that is just a beautiful color story. I really love those fall rusty orangey shades. And then the ruby and the amethyst palettes are beautiful as well, but they don't speak to me like the other ones do. I definitely want the blue and the green, the emerald and the sapphire, and I'm just hoping that they don't sell out and that I can wait a little while before I buy them, because I just don't want to be overwhelmed. I don't want to have it and sit on it. Maybe the moment will pass. Maybe I will decide a little later that I don't actually want them, and then I can just move on and on to the next thing, because there always will be something else. And it's something that I keep reminding myself, and I'm reminding everybody that there always will be something else. And even if you think you've missed something, somebody else will release something that's similar at some point. So you'll be fine, and I'll be fine. Anyway, this has been a very rambly would I buy it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week ahead of you, and I hope we get a chance to chat soon. Bye for now.